If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello, welcome to No Rest for the Vivid. I have a wonderful guest on today. I have Jenna Brazel, who is a Vivid Club member and also I'm first and foremost, as she says, a businesswoman and then a florist. And she is an amazing florist and has recently done the flowers for the Welsh Baftas and did some for Lancôme as well from L'Oreal. Honestly, this girl is so inspiring. I have known her about 3 months. She is such a wonderful member in the Vivid Club membership and is really empowering other members as well as supporting others with encouragement and reflection. But also, it's so empowering when you are a member of the Vivid Club membership and you're able to help others. And she goes from strength to strength, and her business is going to go amazing. Like, that didn't make sense. Going to go amazing. Her business is amazing and is going to grow very soon. And you can just hear the passion of why she loves doing what she does so much. So yeah, if you're a florist or have moved into more product or design and just fed up with keeping in the constraints of what maybe society might want or what you think society might want, just break out of it and use Jenna as your inspiration. Enjoy it. No, it's not. It's good afternoon, my love. Hello. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. You got your cup of tea.
I do.
Coffee. We're gonna have a nice little chin wag.
Yeah.
We're recording a podcast. This is your first podcast, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm so excited though.
Yeah, it's doing a podcast. Well, I've done a few now because I've done my own, but I love it. So for those of people who don't know who you are, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Jenna and I own Bloom Street Florals, which is a modern florist essentially. So we do weddings, events, workshops and a flower school as well. But we just do things a bit more contemporary, a bit more modern than your standard florist.
Yeah, and for everybody who doesn't know who Jenna is, please go and follow her because her work is very different to the standard. Not that there's anything wrong with the standard, nothing wrong with it, but you identify as being different. Did you know, like, when you went into this journey, we'll come back to that, like your love story of your business and everything, but when you started, from the beginning, did you think, I want to be different?
Do you know what? I didn't know, but I think it was trying to follow what the normal vision of floristry is. And I just wanted to be, I was doing things and I just didn't love it. And then one day I had some leftover flowers and I just kind of experimented. And I was like, I feel like people are going to hate this, but I loved it. And then I kind of started sharing things on Instagram that was very different to other florists. And people did love it. People did. So I kind of got a bit more confident then in being a bit more different. And yeah, that's how it kind of blossomed, I guess.
Yes. What a great word. So how did you get into floristry? Because you haven't always done it.
No, so I basically worked in sales for a big travel company who unfortunately collapsed in the pandemic. And I had a side hustle doing wire art, as you know. It was just kind of more of a hobby, and I'd never really been creative as a kid, but I think I just moved into my first property and just kind of wanted some home decor, so kind of got into DIY and bits and just loved it. And then when I got made redundant, leading up to that, I was on furlough for about 6-7 months. So I was bored at home, so I was full-time doing like DIY, creating things, and I just loved it. And then after being made redundant, then I decided, you know what, I kind of want to stay self-employed and make a business out of it. And I'd been made redundant so many times, believe it or not, twice by the same company.
God,
I know, by the age of like 22. So I wanted to trade. So I wanted to get into something then that I essentially theoretically shouldn't lose my job in again. Hence, floristry is kind of a trade. You know, people always get married, people always need funeral flowers. So that was my thinking behind that, really.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, I've known you. See, when did we first meet? Like July, was it?
I think so, yeah. God, it's
Something
gone
like
so
that.
quick.
You sort of landed in my messages and was like, I just want to talk about how you can help me build my business. And you became a member of the Vivid Club.
Yeah.
You're such a cool, like, you're so engaged in there. I just want to thank you. You're so supportive of everybody. It's
I
brilliant.
love the club.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're like, I love that you love it, because I obviously really love it. But yeah, I'm so happy that you love it. But then you were talking about like why you went into floristry, and I really love that you were very strategic about how you decided to go into floristry. And what I know of you so far in your business journey is how you see the bigger picture and how you fit into a bigger picture, and how you can like amplify certain things in your business. You're very business minded. You must know this anyway.
Yeah. I like to think of myself as a businesswoman first and a florist second, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's just a hobby, really.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love it. It's like literally because you have to have that business model. And just before we go back to the floristry and how you decided upon it, do you feel there's a bit of a similarity between the craft of wire art and floristry? And the reason why I say this is only because I feel, because my background is, what I used to do is sewing, but
Yeah.
it's like the construction and how you build your flowers. There was a lot of construction in your flowers. And I wonder whether, and that's how I got into wire art as well. I don't know whether I told you this, because Violet and May, my old business, I made flowers out of ribbon, and then I made accessories out of them.
I saw that.
And I started using wire in there to give more structure to the bouquets and flowers that I made.
Yeah.
And then I used the wire, and Vivid Wire was born. And I just wonder whether it's that kind of, that can, as an artist, that construction of building something up that you enjoyed with both.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? It's kind of the opposite for me, because I did the wire stuff first, but now I do flowers. We actually use quite a lot of wire in flowers.
Yeah.
So like the fragile flowers all have to be wired, buttonholes have to be wired. So I feel like I have a bit of advantage of, playing with wire before and kind of having that experience when it came to flowers. But yeah, no, there's definitely some similarities in the sense of like constructing something from nothing essentially. And it's really rewarding as well, just seeing that finished piece, and it's just so satisfactory as well. So
yeah. And I mean, again, if you go to your grid, there are some real, like, a lot of it is sculpture based, and also how your bunches are not the traditional sort of, I don't know the words. What is it like? It's not like the round shape,
here,
whatever.
isn't it?
Yeah, but yours like jut out here, there, and everywhere. It's not a symmetrical shape.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you just wondered, how did that come about? Like just going, sod it, I'm just going to try this and see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much. If you look back on the work I did when I first finished flower school, it was all very traditional. And it was just, I was looking at it and it was really pretty, but I was like, I feel too young to be creating something like this. And it was just something that you saw like 50, 60 years ago in weddings. And I feel like everything has evolved and everything has changed, but flowers didn't really seem to have changed that much. So the more creative I kind of got, I then found obviously other florists that are kind of more modern as well. But it was literally just playing around with leftover flowers, thinking, you know what, this is actually quite cool. And I want this in my living room in a vase rather than kind of something a bit more traditional. And then I just started posting photos of the more modern things, and then got quite a lot of inquiries from it. And then I've slowly transitioned to all modern now, essentially, and not really doing any of the traditional stuff. So
Yeah, I love that. It's really, really cool. So when you started this journey, what do you feel was like the most daunting part of starting your business? Because there's quite a few businesses that started around the same time as you. Because usually if you've got a side hustle, you need the time, but you had the time. What did you feel like when you started this journey? What was there, anything that daunted you or anything like that?
I think I was very aware I was going into a competitive industry, and also an industry that was quite cliquey. You obviously have these florists that have trained for years at college and university to become florists, and I didn't do it that way. and going into the industry where everyone was, as they say, professionally qualified, when I wasn't. I'd just done a 4-week career change course, and I'm now calling myself a florist. That was difficult, and just, I think I worried too much about what other people thought. But yeah, it's quite a cliquey industry. And I remember my first time going into the floristry wholesalers in the city near me. It was so daunting, and they're not the most welcoming either, because they're just like, oh, you think you're a florist kind of thing. And I guess I was, because I was doing it full time at that point. So it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that I was a florist and calling myself that. And I guess it goes back to imposter syndrome. But yeah, that was really difficult, and it is a competitive industry as well.
How did you overcome that though? You must have been really shitting your pants walking to wholesalers.
Oh my God, yeah, 100%. And I still get anxious now, but I think I was just kind of like myself and just made more of an effort to kind of go out my way and say hello to people as well. It took, God, only in the last month or two are they like really welcoming to me now. And I go in there every few weeks just for like, you know, the odd bits here and there. But yeah, that was quite difficult. But I think growing my social media and just having people that enjoy my work helps so much as well, because it's not necessarily other florists that are loving it, but just people that are booking me for their weddings, and they're trusting me to do their flowers after seeing my work. And having someone send me one of my own photos for inspiration for their wedding is just something else. Like, that is just, it gives you so much more confidence. And yeah, that helped loads.
Good. We spoke about imposter syndrome yesterday. Do you feel, because I know when we first met you were talking about that competitive side of flourishing. I mean, unless you're in that industry, just not aware of it. But I don't know whether when you were doing your wire artistry, there's a bit of a thing in wire artists as well. Yeah, I don't know if you ever come across that.
Yeah, I did notice, and people didn't really like to follow other people on Instagram that did the same thing today. But I think because for me then it was kind of more of a hobby. I didn't really think about it too much, because I mean, if I got some sales, great. If I didn't, I was still getting paid from the job I was on furlough for at that point anyway. But yeah, I did notice it.
Yeah, I've got a plan of trying to battle that, because I don't like it. I think it needs to be, it's just this fear of people copying each other, isn't it? And unfortunately that's just the way of the world. But I've just done a podcast interview of somebody called Charlotte Balbier. When you hear her episode, it's such a good one, and that it's with Josie May and the Money Mavens. I literally just finished it half an hour ago, and she used to design wedding dresses. And she got into that point where everybody was copying her, and she just said, do you know what, I'm going to be really grateful for you copying me, because it means I'm a leader in the industry. And
doing something right.
Yeah, that just makes, but I feel like there's a fear around it, isn't there? But with floristry, there is, I suppose, an element of having to copy, I suppose, a little bit. Is there like some brides, and I'm saying there's nothing wrong with this, sorry if you're a bride, but you're like, these are how I want my flowers. Is there some brides that obviously are very prescriptive of like, this is what I want, but then I suppose you're not your ideal customer then, are they?
No. So I have had brides come to me with a picture of a bouquet and say they want the exact same thing, and at that point I'll say to them, I can take inspiration from it, but it's going to be done in my style with the flowers I prefer to use. And kind of, you've probably seen my Instagram, I love to use roses, and I love to reflex them as well, where you bend the petals back. So that's kind of like my style. So if they show me another image and they want me to copy that exactly, I won't do it. And they're best off going to the florist that produced that image in the first place, because it's obviously their work. But I'm quite lucky. I've only probably turned one or two brides down for that reason, and the rest of them have just kind of given me a color palette, and I kind of request creative freedom with it as well, because obviously with the different seasons you're going to have different flowers, and with everything going on in the world, sometimes you can't get your hands on a specific flower even if it's in season.
So yeah, you do use a lot of roses. Where do you get them from? Are they English, or like they're not from around here? Or
they're not, unfortunately. No, they do come in from Holland. So they're all grown in Holland, and then they go through the flower market, and then they get delivered to my front door then. So yeah, that's good. I do try and use British flowers, but obviously with our climate, we can't grow everything.
I don't know why I said English. I just thought I'm talking to a Welsh girl. I'm literally, who am I to say English? I don't know what you say. But yeah, I know, like, You always think of Holland as just growing tulips, but definitely not. They grow a lot more than that.
Everything, yeah. Or pretty much all the flowers go through Holland. Some of them come from Ecuador, South Africa.
Wow.
Like the tropical ones, and I love to use the tropical ones as well. So they go through kind of those countries and then to Holland, and then yeah, they're grown in the other countries, I should say. Go through Holland, and then my wholesale is based in Holland then.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's like, again, it's just like opening up. If you're not in the industry, you just don't know, do you? You just don't understand it. So you've started your business and you're cracking on, and recently you've had a little bit of a rebrand, haven't you?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about all of that and why you decided to do it.
So, like I said, when I started, I tried to be a normal florist, let's call it a normal florist, traditional style. And my branding reflected that, and it was very elegant, my original branding. And I got those type of customers, but the more I realized that I loved the bright and bold stuff, my branding, the name, and also the look of it, the look of the website just didn't scream modern. It didn't scream like kind of like quirky, I guess, and untraditional. So yeah, it was about time I rebranded, and I wanted to do it before I took on any like big events or big work, and my name was kind of out there as a different name. So yeah, I had a bit of a, well, I had a bit of a crisis over that, like an identity crisis, didn't I? Yeah, but it's all sorted now, and I'm so much happier with the branding, and just the inquiries I've had since rebranding have been so more up my street. So yeah.
I don't know if you had an identity crisis. I think it was just so scary, wasn't it? It was like, you know what you wanted to do. And I mean, that is the brilliance of the Vivid Club membership and stuff, because you can go, right, this is what I want to do, but I'm really not sure. And I don't know, but you did know. It's just having that confidence to go, what do you think? Is it, or, but having people to go, no, you're doing the right thing, even though you did know what you wanted to do.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was difficult as well, because obviously I speak to my family about my business, and none of them have had businesses, and they were just like, yeah, but you're doing so well, I don't understand why you'd rebrand. And it was like, yeah, but I'm not getting my ideal type of client. And my dad just kept saying to me, yeah, but you can take on all the clients. And it was like, no, but I don't want to do traditional stuff. And he was like, so you're literally turning people away that come into you with their money because it's not your style. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And I think they thought I was a bit mad. So it's difficult when you've got people so close to you saying that as well. And I know it was only out of like love, and it's just because they hadn't been in this position and don't really know like how businesses work, I guess.
Yeah,
that was difficult.
Yeah, that it is hard when no one else knows what you're talking about. And I knew because I had similar, well, I didn't change the name, but I had to replace my logo for Vivid Wire. I didn't even have one for Vivid Club until, well, no, I did sort of make one, but it wasn't right. And it's that you have to embody your brand, and you have to be your brand. And if what is on that piece of paper, or that logo, or the website, and if it doesn't represent you, then there is like a misalignment, isn't there? Because you're not showing who you really are. So you're not going to attract who you really want to help. And what's really key with what you're saying is about niche. And we spoke a lot about your niche and about who your ideal customer is, and the element of, you design your niche, you design who you want to serve, and then they will be attracted to you. And a lot of people are so scared of going, yeah, but I'm going to be alienating other people. But it might be, especially with your brand, Jenny, it might be that people didn't even know they wanted flowers like that for their wedding until you showed them what was possible. Maybe traditional was being the only option for them.
Yeah.
And then if you had there was nothing wrong with your old logo and branding, that it was, lovely. The name was great, but it just didn't represent who you wanted to serve. And when we first met, you were like, I just don't like using green. Like, I like all colour.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, yeah, so it has to be, you just don't do it then. And it was
100%.
Yeah, just show that other side and get those weddings that And I mean, you've got a really big dream. Do you want to share your big dream with everybody of what you want to do? I'm chopping and changing it, but I've just remembered about what one of your goals are.
Which one is this? I have so many. Is this
Yeah, you
Vogue?
do have yeah.
Yeah. So I gave myself 5 years from finishing flower school, which was October 2021, and I want to be featured in Vogue. Vogue weddings. I've said I will do it in 5 years, and it was really daunting at first. I think so many people kind of, especially the people at flower school, were just a bit like, okay. But do you know what? I actually think it's quite achievable. I'm like looking back on the last year, especially the last few months since I've rebranded, things have picked up quite quickly, and I've had some quite big gigs, and yeah, I definitely think it's possible.
I definitely think in the last month you've had quite a big gig. Do you want to say about that? That is like a massive thing.
Yeah, so I did the flowers for the 2022 BAFTA Cymru Awards, the Welsh Baftas. Honestly, when I first got that email through, I honestly thought it was a spam email until he named the person that had recommended me. So that was insane, and they pretty much gave me like a picture of a color palette that was all kind of blended together, like an ombre photo just of color, and said pretty much do whatever I want within those colors. But as you've seen from the photos, there was no greenery, it was all color, which is like totally my vibe. And it was absolutely incredible. It looked amazing when it was done. And yeah, they were really, really chuffed with it as well. And I had so many positive comments, which was amazing. And off the back of that, the BAFTAs actually recommended me to L'Oreal, and I did some work for Lancôme then, who are owned by L'Oreal. So that was amazing as well. Again, like my ideal type of client. So
yeah. So Vogue is not that far away.
No, I don't think it's achievable.
Yeah. So according to your target, you've got another 4 years until you. But I think you can probably you'll be able to do it earlier than that, because I remember you saying, I was like, just do a sheet on your own, do it all free. And then that day I saw that post of somebody doing a similar thing, and I was like, look, see, people do it. You can do it yourself.
Yeah. So on the go for the beginning of next year, I'm going to arrange a shoot. Things have been mad at the moment, obviously, with the house renovation and everything.
I know, yeah.
But once that's done, and the beginning of the year is kind of quiet then, usually weddings don't typically pick up till like April, May time. So yeah, I'm going to go ham the beginning of the year and get something really cool done.
So what else is on the list of because I love the fact you don't need encouraging to dream big. So we've got Vogue on the list. Yeah. What else do you want to achieve?
So I do want to launch a flower school as well. The flower school I went to was incredible, but the way we were taught was with pretty much all British flowers and lots of greenery. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But obviously I've found a love for kind of the more tropical flowers, the things we have to import in, and no greenery as well. So I want to do a flower school. I want to launch a flower school to help people kind of follow their dreams in that sense, and just teach them that you don't have to follow like society's norm of, you know, what society tells you a bridal bouquet looks like. So that's on the list for next year. I'm launching an online shop as well soon, so I'm just in the process of getting that set up and running. And then I'm hoping by the end of next summer I'm going to have a full-time member of staff working for me as well. So yeah,
that's
it's
good.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I'm really excited about your school, and because it is using your brain to help other people build their businesses is just really, really cool. And that's what we did map out, that didn't we, ages ago in a hero hours or whatever it was. But it's really exciting to know that there's, for you, and what I really inspired by from you is how you are always thinking of the next thing. And I don't see how and to be fair, Jenna, there's not many people I come across that are like me in that way. And you are literally, I'm doing this. I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's like, is there anything that you feel that trips you up before you go for those big dreams, and how because it's sometimes it's really tough for people to dream big, but you're doing that. Is there anything that you feel gets in your way from getting you there?
I feel like I get too excited too quickly with all these ideas, and my brain doesn't stop. And I'm convinced I have some form of ADHD.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I come up with these ideas all the time, and I'm like, to my other half, I'm like, oh my God, this could be a business idea. This could be a business idea. And it's like, I need to focus and put time into what I've already got before I start something new. So I think I probably get too ahead of myself in that sense, but I need to focus on one thing, build that up, and then move on to the next before trying to start like 10 ideas at once.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I will have an idea. Well, you know this, but I'll have an idea, and then I'm training myself not to tell anybody about it until I've written it all down and sort of like, right, has this got legs? What are the margins? How am I going to actually achieve it? How long is it going to take me? Because another thing I do is like, I can do all this. And we spoke about this yesterday in what we actually like, you do your to-do list and you think, oh, my ideal self can get that done. But actually your ideal self doesn't have 30 hours in the day and doesn't, actually you do need to wee and eat, you have all of these big ideas and dreams. But I'm the same as you and I love that. But what I've learned, Jenna, is that every idea I get is not just for me. So I might have 5 new business ideas every day. I'm never ever short of ideas, and creatively as well, designs for Vivid Wire, never short of ideas, never short of how I can help people. But then I've realized I can write them down, and then somewhere along the line someone will say, or I've been thinking about this, and I go, oh, I've got an idea, and then I give the idea away.
So I love that.
All of your ideas, they're all really good. Write them all down, but they're not always just intended for you. They might be for somebody else.
100%. No, I agree with that. I need to do that more.
Just write them down. But this is the thing, like if you hold it all in your head, you don't have much clarity then, do you? Because you're just like, I just want to do everything.
And I want to do it right now as well. Not in 6 months' time. I want to do it now.
But that shows how much of an entrepreneur you are, because if you've got the buzz, it's like an addiction in a way, the buzz of the new idea and actually pulling it off and getting it off the ground, and then and having that time for content. That's the one thing I do. I'll have an amazing idea. I've had this idea about this Wire Art membership. It's going to be called the Wire Art Collective, and then I was like, what am I doing creating another membership? That is just, I can't. The Vivid Club needs more of me. What am I doing? But I got so excited to the point where as soon as I thought of the idea, I was on my story saying, I've got an idea, let me know. And then I started the ball rolling. And then I was like, oh shit, like it's a big thing. I think I'm going to try and get him into the Vivid Club instead. But it's that running away with an idea. And I have so many about the Vivid Club. And thankfully I have Bex now that goes, hold on. Right. Hold on. Have we got enough capacity to deliver that? Have we got the margin? All of these things, because you just get so excited by the ideas and you just run away with them, don't you?
And the same. I need a Bex in my life.
Everyone needs a Bex. Everyone needs a Bex. But it's really good to have. But I've sort of have that voice in my head now, which is Bex, because she doesn't work all the time with me, but I will step back and go, right, I'm just going to write that down, I'm going to shelve it. And sometimes I'll have loads of ideas and I will forget them all because I've written them down, and it's only the ideas that I come back to. Oh yeah, I've got that idea, and I come back to it again and again without me having to like look at the piece of paper. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones that are like, they stick. And then you're like, oh, okay. But it's good. You're never going to run out of ideas.
Oh no, God, no, I'll never run out of ideas. I have so many, honestly.
What's your wildest idea for business?
Oh, I'd like to expand the business to a point that I take international weddings. And so I love travel. I used to work for a traveling company, a backpacking company. And I'd love to basically like have a summer where I have a wedding in France, a wedding in LA, a wedding in Australia, and kind of like travel and do it. It's not practical at all. And I don't even know if it'd be possible because the weight of my tools and getting everything and getting the staff. But I'd love to somehow like incorporate the flowers into all the traveling I used to do. And but that would be a bit mad. So
it'd be bloody fun though, wouldn't it?
It would be, it'd be good fun.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. But can you do your florist school? Can you go international with that, or do they have to be in person?
I've thought about potentially doing like an online one.
Mm,
But if it was me, so when the flower school I went to, they had online courses, but I think well, for me, when I was paying that much money, I wanted it to be in person because I wanted someone to physically be able to take a bouquet out of my hands and say, like, look at this needs changing, that needs changing, you're doing this wrong. Whereas I feel like if it's online, it's a little bit more difficult to give the people the support, I think, with that kind of thing. I have potentially thought about having like different hubs, so like a team, maybe like a European team based in France or Italy, and having a UK team, so I could take weddings in both locations and I would go between them both, but I'd have a team in each place to do weddings if I was in the other destination. So that's something I'm thinking about, like long term in the future. But yeah, something like that would be really cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. I love how you just sort of, the world is literally your oyster.
Yeah.
So good. And this whole time you've been renovating your house as well. Where are you at with that?
Okay, so our new kitchen has gone in. We literally been finished painting this week, and we're just waiting for the floor to go down now in the kitchen diner, and we're about to move in then. Well, we're going to be in before Christmas. We're just lush because we had the keys December last year, but we honestly had no idea how much work it was when we took it on. It didn't look that bad inside. It just looked like it needed, new wallpaper and a new kitchen. And when we got inside and realized that the plaster was cracking off and everything had to go back to brick and all the walls upstairs had to come down because they were just like, the brick walls were just like moving and they were so wobbly, so they all had to come down. The floor had to come up. It needed a whole new rewiring, new water system, new boiler, everything. So yeah, it was a lot more than we thought we were taking on.
Would you do it again?
No, I'll be honest, no. I don't regret it because I love our house now, and I think because it's an older house, we have like quite big bedrooms, whereas we looked at some new builds and they just don't have the space anymore. So our master bedroom is massive. We have enough room to have like all our bedroom furniture and then like a little seating area with a coffee table in the bedroom as well, which I love. And I feel like it's going to be a really nice place to relax rather than just sleep. And I love the features of it. So we've restored all the old floorboards as well, and we've got really high ceilings. So yeah, I'm grateful we did it, but trying to do that when we know nothing about renovating a house while setting up a business is not ideal.
Yeah, you can literally do anything now. Just a tip for the bedroom though. I've got enough room for a sofa, and I write on this sofa. We've got like a sofa puff and a coffee table and everything.
Ew.
And I make sure that we do not dump our clean washing on that chair. So and it is so difficult because I write there now every morning. When I look, I'm like, oh, I've got to sit on my chair to write this morning, like, so I clean my washing. But it is such a luxury. I've realized how to have a seat in your bedroom is a bit posh, isn't it?
It's
But I feel, but then I start my day by writing in that lovely area of my house that I'm just so lucky to have. And then I found this really posh old footstool for £6 on FaceBay just to put in there in my bedroom. I've got enough room for just this. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. It's at the end of the bed anyway. It looks nice. I don't know what it is, but just having room to do stuff like that, it's just so grateful for stuff like that. When was your house built? Do you know?
I want to say 1929 or 1928, 1929. So when we pulled, there was two fireplaces, like old fireplaces in the house, and when we pulled out one of the like fireplace surrounds, it had 1929 written on the back.
Right.
And it was signed by the person who obviously put it there or whatever. And we found some newspapers and they're from like 1980s or something.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's an old house, but
yeah, mine's 1930, so it might be like a similar kind of style. But our front door is the original, and my husband's like took it back to the paint so that and then restored it, and it's the original. So our front door is nearly 100 years old, and we've got like stained glass and stuff.
That's mad to think a door is that old, isn't it?
I know. It's so thick. Honestly, you never get anything through it. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God, that's
Ridiculous.
amazing.
Yeah. But you know, when you're looking at we're going off topic, but you know, those like brand new doors, they're so expensive. But Dan was like, well, if I just give this one a bit of love, it's lasted this long. So it's gonna be all right for a few more years.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
so good.
I love
no,
that.
ours wasn't the original door. We had like they'd put another one in a few years before. We need to change it, but we got quoted over £1,000 for the front and back door.
I know it's ridiculous,
So,
but if you
yeah.
can get a 1930, you can get them that they'll be restored, or you can get them old and then restore them. They're really cool, but again, it's people spend so much money restoring stuff. This is the thing, like our front door is worth a couple of grand just because it's from
Restored.
1930. Yeah.
That's mad. That's a good shot. We'll have to have a look actually. We actually restored all the doors in the house that were upstairs because they were the original doors. And we had them, my dad took them for us to get them dipped, and because they'd been, oh my God, the person who'd lived there had literally just put layer of paint on top of layer of paint on top of layer of paint. So we had them stripped, and that was only about £30 per door, and they took them back to the natural wood.
Really?
So they're really nice. Yeah, they're really, really nice. For
That's
30
such
quid
a good shout, because we've got original doors and they're the 1930s. So when Jackson was little, he couldn't ever escape out of his bedroom because
the handles are so high. Yeah.
too high. So it really, now he gets on a step and everything because he still can't reach him. But it's exactly the same. We haven't done that part of the house yet, but we want to get it back to the wood. So I didn't even know you could do that. Look at you, you're like a renovation guru now.
I know. Yeah, it was 30 quid a door, and they literally, I think it took them a day. We dropped them off on the Tuesday, we had them back the next day.
Wow.
And I don't even know what they dipped them in. It's some sort of acid or something to get the paint off, but it worked wonders, and they literally came up like new. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna tell Dan he's going to put another project now. Love it.
Amazing.
Going back to business though, what do you love the most about running your business?
I love the fact that I can deliver service in the way that I want to. So that's something I really worked with when I was in sales, was if I didn't think something that the company had said was right, I couldn't override that. And, you know, sometimes if it was literally just tell a customer tough luck, and that's not who I am. I love to I'm a people pleaser, so I kind of do everything I possibly can. So I love that about the business, and that I can give the service I want to give. And also I feel, this is probably a really weird thing to not enjoy, but to like about it, is that I can also turn down people that I don't think are right. So sometimes when I worked in sales, we'd have this customer come in wanting this trip that we didn't really do, and you just knew that they weren't going to be happy with whatever you did. And I feel like now, if I have a bride that I really don't think I can meet their expectations, I can say to them, look, I'm not going to be able to meet your expectations on this, and I've not got to deal with the stress or the anxiety leading up to that wedding, because I kind of work with the brides who are fairly easygoing and that trust me as well. I don't have anyone micromanaging me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I love that, because that, and whether you recognize that in yourself, you actually are following your gut instinct with how, and anybody's listening to this who's product based or service based or anything like that, the amount of times you will get even just one message through Instagram, definitely with Vivid Wire. I had a couple yesterday actually. I knew as soon as I got that message they were going to be a bit of a pain. And I'm always kill it with kindness. I was very professional, but the questions they were asking me, I just thought, you've got no idea what wire art is. And you're asking very strange. And I knew when then she started asking, and to the point where I gave her the price. And I know I'm a more expensive wire art artist because I'm really bloody good at it, and you get an amazing service. I own my prices. I teach all of you in the Vivid Club. But she, as soon as I said it, she just didn't reply. And I just thought, I've spent half an hour back and forth. And I knew as soon as I saw the first message, that's it. It's just whether they say, it's just like how they approach you in that first message. You're the same? Like, you're like, I know.
100%. And I'm the same as you. I'm very polite about it, but I will just say to someone like, I don't think I'm the right florist for you. And I just kind of explain to them that I don't feel like I can meet their expectations, and I feel like that whatever I did, they would be disappointed. And it's very rare, but I sometimes have brides that just kind of, they don't want to pay the value of flowers, and they don't see the value in flowers, and it's like, well, can we swap out a few flowers, or can you take 2 flowers out of my bridal bouquet and reduce the cost? And I'm not going to get into that conversation, because that's not the type of business I want to be. I don't brand myself as a budget business, and I want to kind of be able to give my customers the best quality of flowers and everything. So yeah, it is nice having that ability to say to people, like, I don't think we should work together on this, because essentially for a wedding, I'm not working for the bride and groom, I'm working with them to create something that's incredible. So I feel like there needs to be that good working relationship, and if there's not, I feel very privileged that I can say to them, like, I don't think this is right. And yeah, I do love that about the business, because working in sales before, you know, you had to take the booking no matter what, because there was managers on your back and everything like that. So yeah,
that's so cool. And you recognize and thank you yourself for the confidence that you have to say no, because there's so many times that people will say yes and they don't follow that instinct. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Thank
hard,
you.
but it's just going to result in a negative review or something like that anyway. So, and it's not worth the stress. It's really not worth the stress and anxiety.
No, because you're using all that warrior energy, and you could be using it to boost your business in other ways. And but yeah, no, that's cool. And I love the fact that you do, and obviously coming back from your background, and I remember you saying, so I'm all over the place, I'm just remembering saying when I first met you how you would see things in the company that maybe operational or strategic weren't really working as well as you thought you could get them to work, and you proposed ideas, but they didn't always go down well, did they?
No, never. And I feel like, so I was an assistant manager in the company I was with in their biggest flagship store in the UK. And my manager actually managed 2 stores. So she wasn't there 50% of the time. So 50% of the time she was working in the other office. So it led me in charge. And I wasn't allowed, not change anything, but just like little things we weren't allowed to implement or anything. And they didn't even give me like a chance to show them it could work or anything like that. So that was quite tough, because I was like working with these staff, and I'd started at the bottom like them, and I did their job, and then I became assistant manager. So I was like, if I was them again, this would help me, or that would be beneficial. And higher up just didn't want to hear it, whether that was my manager, the regional manager, the UK sales manager. It just wasn't listened to really, or you'd kind of mention it and they'd go, all right, okay, and it'd be brushed under the carpet, and that was that. So yeah, that was tough.
And that is so cool about this instant, that when you're running your own business, that instant change that you can implement that can make an impact in that moment, and that can last. Like, you can change things straight away, and it's 100%. So empowering, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've been in the Vivid Club a few months now.
Yes.
You like it?
I love it. Honestly, I said to my other half, it's like a little group of co-workers, and it's literally like I have like work friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
But it's just like having, and if I have a question or anything, just pop it in the Vivid Club, and just, so like I see posts in there sometimes, and people are like, what do I do with this? And it's like, I went through that last year. So I comment on it, and then they're doing the same for me when something's come up for me that I've not experienced before, that they've experienced, and just a little meets every week as well. Yeah, it's well cute. I love the club. It's my favorite thing.
Good. I love it. I knew you did, but I just, this is a podcast and we've got to promote business. I like to be transparent, because we have got our open day soon, though I think when this episode goes out, it's already gone. But yeah, I love it, and I'm just want more co-working space for everybody, co-working time. And I think that is such a good, I didn't realize how good it was going to work, but everybody seems to enjoy it so much.
Yeah, and I love it.
It's literally only 2 hours a week.
Yeah, no, it's so good though, and it's just, it gets me to log on at a certain time, and just it does hold you accountable, doesn't it? And yeah, I think the week before last I was on there and I was looking at Christmas baubles to do dried flower baubles, but I was sat in Starbucks and I didn't have a measuring tape on me, so we were on CEO time, and I just put in the chat and I was like, does anybody know like the average size of Christmas baubles, because I'm ordering some online, I can't picture them. And I think it was Grace was like, hang on, I've got one here, and then Bex was like, they're about this size. So yeah, that was really helpful, but that was just a CEO type.
I love it. I love it. Oh no, you're such a valuable member. Like honestly, absolutely love it. And we've got are you coming to the online Christmas party?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh my
of
God,
course.
so excited. I know I was talking about it yesterday, but I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait.
I have to hold Bex down though, because she's even more excited about it. And she
Oh
was like
no.
saying the other day, like I really need to do some work on the Christmas party. And I was like, we've got it booked in. We've got a 2-hour meeting just to plan the online Christmas party,
Oh God,
which is
I
2
love
hours
it.
long. But yeah, it's just I really wanted that element of the Vivid Club to be like you've got workmates.
Yeah,
And yeah,
100%.
it's cool, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah, cool. Oh, I've loved having you on today. As I ask
You.
everybody on here, if you could tell yourself something 10 years ago that you know now that you wish you'd known. I've lost,
I
that
know what you mean.
everyone who listens knows. Sometimes I stumble a bit on that one, but yeah, what's the answer?
So 10 years ago, I was 15, and God, it feels like such a long time ago. And I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my future. I didn't know what career I wanted to do. All my friends were going to university, and I didn't. And it was quite a scary time because everyone was like, you're not going to university, like what are you going to do? And I remember my parents being like, you're not just going to sit on your bum at home all day. And it was like as if I was not going to do that because I wanted to be lazy. So I think I would tell myself that it's okay not to follow society's norms, and kind of follow your gut. And I knew university wasn't for me. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't go because it wasn't for me. Like it's amazing for people and some careers you need to go, but for me it wasn't something I wanted to do. And I think I struggled all the way through college. So I kind of wish I knew back then it was absolutely fine to not follow what other people were doing and explore your own path. Because at the time I had like a massive crisis about it, and my friends and family were like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I think it's okay not to know what you want to do at any point in your life, and just explore the things that you enjoy. And that's kind of how I've been brought to this now. But yeah, and to stop worrying what other people think so much as well, because that took over my childhood, just worrying about what other people thought of me, or if I wore this, what would they think? If I wore that, what would they think? So yeah, not to worry about what other people think and not to follow society's norms would be my advice.
Yeah, trust your gut.
Yeah,
and just
100%.
follow your heart. That's why I've got this tattoo on my wrist.
Oh,
to follow my heart, because I feel the same way. And it's, I've got a bloody degree and a master's. Do I use it? Well, I suppose I use the master's a little bit, but
yeah.
I don't really. But it's whatever's led you to where you are now. But I just, really hope that you thank yourself enough. And I know I say this to everyone, but thanking yourself for and being grateful to yourself for the confidence you've got in your business, following your gut, how you've got all of these ideas, and really appreciate how bloody magic you are, because you really, really are, and you're going to do bloody amazing things. And I don't want any of that to sound patronizing or anything, but I just think you're an absolute superstar. You're bloody amazing. And thank you for being in the club and being such a great member and having your wonderful business. But yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, I'm so grateful for all your help, and I'm so glad I passed across and I found you on Instagram that day. But yeah, I'm so grateful for you and the club as well, everyone else in the club. So yeah.
And soon, if we get to Bristol, we're doing a meet up in Bristol.
It's a good night out.
Yeah, we'll meet. I think the next one is going to be in Bristol, because it's so much easier for quite a few other people.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of like doing these road shows like around the country.
Yeah.
Like gone to Coventry, gone to Kent, and then we can go to Bristol next. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah,
really
that would be cool.
And it better start planning that. Okay, my love. All right, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for being on here. And I will put all of your stuff, all of your links on. Where can people find you? Actually, you tell everybody, and then I'll put the links in the show notes.
So on all social media, it's at Bloom Street Florals, and then my website is bloomstreetflorals.com.
Amazing. Thank you, babe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vick.